Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Beacon Breakdown. Noah aired this week. He was out in Seattle casting for a major tournament, so exciting opportunity for him. Instead, you've got the two of us here today.
And unfortunately, we are not matching today.
We are not, no. See, I don't have this fancy one that you
That's
have
true.
here, so
That's true. This is like an OG pullover, when we are trying to be really cool,
yes, yeah, yeah. But we also had the opportunity to travel this weekend too. We went down to Columbus for our Great Lakes Esports Conference playoff
And we were just arguing on who might be more tired as we
event.
as we deal with the about 11 hours we spent on the road, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, to take two teams down and caravan down there and go and compete for however many hours we were there, it was a lot of fun going down there. Um, Even got to see some snow, so get that winter going, and now we come back this week with a big week on the line with NECC playoffs starting off. A lot of teams in prime position taking that GLEC LAN and gonna roll it right into this week.
Yeah, and I mean overall, really exciting experience. This was an event we went out to in the spring as well, but that time we just took our Smash Bros team. This weekend we had the opportunity to bring League of Legends alongside the Smash Bros team, so a bit of a bigger group, and they had a different venue there for us down in Columbus too.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun because again, yeah, we had taken Smash last semester. This was League's first LAN, so kind of a historic step for the program. And yeah, not only did we take kind of the starters per se, but we actually took some bench too. So it was a large group going. Everyone got playtime this weekend, whether it was Smash or League. So that was a lot of fun too. Um, the results were not quite what we maybe wanted, but also maybe what we kind of expected with some of that too. So I know, we'll talk Smash first. Smash with a tough matchup going in. Had St. Francis in the first round. We ended up being the 6th seed going up against the 3 seed St. Francis, and boy did they have a dominant Ken, if I've seen one.
Yeah, it was brutal, I guess I'll say. I mean that first match, we took what one stock off the Ken,
hmm
I think.
hmm
So a little tough. I know, first land for Spencer, a lot of nerves on the line, especially with, Laird not being there and Alex being out of the country, Josh being out of the country. So it's one of those rough semesters for Smash where, they just weren't at full strength, weren't in the best spot. And, St. Francis, tough matchup as well.
Yeah.
So
And on the flip side of that, though, it was a really special opportunity for this team, right? If you do look at that LAN roster from last spring with Chris and Fitz, those were the only returners. Coming in now this semester, throwing in Spencer, throwing in Weston, with this first year being on campus, you got to get those LAN nerves out at some point, and Smash is no different. Smash is something where you want to play in person all year round, but it's online, and then you go from online kind of in that quiet room we've got next door
yep.
to this loud experience that we had at game arena, and it's different. So it's good. Get them in there, get them used to that fight. That Ken St. Francis then went on to their next matchup, did the same thing,
Yep.
and kind of ran through it before they met the buzzsaw that is Manchester in the championship, and Manchester took home that crown in Smash. But League, little bit of upset special in that first round.
Yeah. League coming into the first round matchup. I'm not quite sure which seed were they. Do you
They were
remember?
the 5 seed.
We were the 5 seed, so we were facing off against Mount Union, who we had seen in the first match of our season, months and months back, and that was a very close regular season series that we lost 2-1 to Mount Union, right? So we're coming into this and we're thinking, revenge time. We spent the whole season growing, building up, learning, getting better. Maybe we have a chance to, take them down in this rematch.
And if you look at League of Legends on paper, a lot of people go straight to ranks. What's your OP.GG, things
Yep.
like that. And by rank, things weren't that close, correct?
Yeah, I believe Mount Union had two Diamond players, and we don't have a single player in Diamond right now. I know Justin, I think, might have been there before, but not quite there right now. So definitely based on that pure ranking system, Mount Union had the edge. But in these tournaments, it's so much more about, team play. There's opportunities if you have the chemistry to, create those advantages for yourself in the game and be like, sure, if we're taking a 1v1 here, we're probably going to lose. But if we can team up, coordinate, and get a 2v1, then, we're probably going to win that fight. So a lot of teamwork in there can give you the edge when you don't have the rank advantage.
And that's what I talk about a lot, when it comes to not necessarily just recruiting, but that's the first thing people ask me, right? Oh, well, what's their rank? What's this rank? What's that rank? And yes, rank plays a part. Rank can matter, but at the same time, throw it out the window sometimes. If you've got a team game and you've got a group of 5 performing better than 5 that aren't, it doesn't matter what rank is. And so coming into that game, like I said, on paper we were down. Looking at the regular season, we might have been down, but I know they put in a lot of work. It showed. We ended up losing game 1 to Mount Union in the first round, and surprisingly, I kind of looked over at League, looked over at Coach Chase, and they were calm. They were joking. They weren't too phased by it. Went into the draft pick phase and turned things around. So it was really cool seeing that coming in, taking game 2, taking game 3 before they go from there. Unfortunately, they had the immovable force when it comes to Ohio Northern. So, they faced the number 1 seed Ohio Northern, who then ended up going on and winning it all. But it was still a great fight and a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I mean, to touch a little more on, what you said about draft, I think that's, one of Valpo's strong suit. We have, Coach Chase, like you said, and Josh, our analyst. They put in a ton of prep work, running the stats, looking at the matchups, and, they knew exactly what they wanted and, how to take away the champions that, Mount Union thrived on. I remember after the games, we were outside, waiting to head out or go to Raisin Canes or something. One of the Mountain Union guys stopped us and said, you took away like my 2 best champions. Like outside of that, there's a big drop off. So, him not having those comfort picks, those champions that he thrives on, was another big advantage for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, again, GLEC, not what we wanted, but a great opportunity. And we got to try Raising Cane's. Some of us, I'd never been there. We found what felt like maybe the world's largest Barnes and Noble. I don't know, but it was a lot of fun. And like I said, we're gonna do it again next semester. As in GLEC, we'll have Smash, Rocket League, and Overwatch next semester. Hopefully, all 3 are in the same position, and we can make that trip down to Columbus once again.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really great experience. Just looking at the environment, it's a super new, I think 1 year old now, facility that they have like right next to the OSU campus. Um, we'll take a look at chat here in a
I was
second.
gonna
I
say,
see
I was
something
gonna say
popping up,
something's.
but right next to the OSU campus, and it's got this, loft upstairs. It's got this, enclosed room where teams in 5v5 games like Valorant and League can like be in this little box and look at each other across the glass. So, and there's also a cafe and bar area there. So it
That's
was
what I was gonna say. I enjoyed the fries.
yes, yeah, good food too, actually. So I think it's a really cool opportunity. Our players were talking about how jealous they were, how they wish that we had something like that here in downtown Valpo. So
All right, chat.
yes, let's take a peek here. We'll actually pull it over here.
League had the rig diff. Thanks, Father Pyro. Thanks for
We
stopping
won't
in too.
mention what brand of headsets were at the facility. Let's just pretend it was
Yeah.
rig, right? Yes, yes.
So as we mentioned, though, this is a big week for playoffs in the NECC. Schedules are start to roll in, and we've got some fairly good matchups across the board, but also some seeding. I think as we looked at the semester overall, we always have a goal where we hope to make the playoffs with every single team. Not only did we do that this time around, but also the seeds are a little higher than I think maybe a few of us thought. I knew we'd have some competitive teams, but I'm not sure I expected this coming into the fall.
Yeah. I mean, I guess before we totally look ahead, we haven't touched on the past week, right? We were so caught up in the GLEC LAN. We did finish out the regular season in NECC. So looking at some of those results, Rocket League Gold finishing out on a really good note. A 3-2 win, kind of exercising some of the struggles that they had, and it's got to feel good to pull it out in 5 games for them.
And I'm just going to take a second and say that Mike types out some great notes for us right before the show. I was looking at the notes and skipped everything. I just went straight to the bottom. So thanks for keeping us on track. But yeah, Gold, a great 3-2 win. They've been coming in and out. Like we talk about, they're student athletes, right? And what do we say about student athletes? They're students first. And Rocket League Gold has had some student stuff going on, so their rosters kind of come in and out. We've had different sets of three that have been playing the last few weeks. So for them to end the season on a high note and get a couple wins here and go strong into the playoffs is pretty big for them.
Yep, and then our other Rocket League team, Brown, suffered an unfortunate defeat, but that was against New Haven. So the top of their division is kind of really powerhouses. Them and St. Clair, I believe it is, are both, you know, kind of dominating the league.
Hmm.
So expected loss, but hopefully they can, take that on the nose and head into playoffs.
And it's all information gathering, right? At this point, playoffs are wrapped up. Rocket League Brown trying to find their identity for each opponent. So, yes, this was a loss last week, but at the same time, if they play them again in next week, 2 weeks, whenever that's gonna be, not hopefully not on Thanksgiving night, but then they'll take that and kind of go from there.
Yeah, thankfully, I think NECC gives us Thanksgiving off. So,
Let's hope.
So moving on to Overwatch, our Overwatch Shield team went 3-0 this past week, and they are looking hot.
Securing that number 2 seed for the playoffs. I think ending the season 7-1.
Yep.
We knew last year coming off a nationals they had a pretty strong team. This year have added another couple 2 players. Weren't quite sure how it all fused together, but it's gone quite well. So yeah, rattling off 3 wins last week, a long week of competition. But yeah, we got a win this past Wednesday over ISU, and then wins Thursday night over DPU and SIUE. Beacon also picking up a couple games last week, going 1-1. For Beacon, they've taken that next step, right? Last semester in the Navigators division, handling business, beating who's in front of them. This semester, saying, "Hey, let's go up, let's face more and higher competition," and they've kind of held their own throughout.
Yeah, I mean Beacon finishing 5-4 in the regular season, still a winning record, nothing to be ashamed of, and all you got to do to is get to playoffs, and anything can happen, right? We've seen some magic runs in playoffs, in all different sports and esports, right?
And like we've been talking about the last couple weeks too, this is not a sprint, especially with the NECC where they take your fall semester, they take your spring semester, kind of put them together to get to nationals. This isn't ride or die in the fall. Absolutely, we want wins. We want to run. Everyone wants to go 9-0 or whatever it is. But we need to remember we've got a whole another half of the season. So 5-4, it's a fantastic start, especially when you talk to Coach Pyro in the chat. You talk to the team, and they were maybe figuring themselves out the first 4 or 5 games of the season. So to be 5-4 to end the season on a good note and in the playoffs, I'm sure that's where they want to be.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly what they started. They might have began like 1-3 or something like that. So really been able to bounce back and gotten a lot better as we progressed. So taking a look at League of Legends, yep,
Yep,
there he's
1-3.
confirming
Thank you.
1-3. Yes, so that means they went 4-1 in their
Uh huh.
final 5 games. So
And I believe the last game Thursday night, while they did lose, it was against Morningside, who's one of the top seeds, right?
hmm
So again, like I talked about with Brown, at this point didn't matter win or lose. They were still in the playoffs, so getting that knowledge of Morningside, knowing how they come in next time they go to play them is going to be really important.
yep. So moving on to League of Legends, I know we already talked about them, at the GLEC LAN with that good win, but they got another good win before that on Wednesday when they defeated Bethel in the NECC.
I was just saying, familiar foe. It feels like with Bethel, great program up there. I got a chance to talk with Dan at the GLEC LAN. Feels like we've played Bethel about 34 times this fall. But yeah, so League of Legends is in the Emergence division of the NECC this fall. and they went perfect. They went all out 8-0. The Bethel matchup last week was an important one because they had lost to Bethel in the GLEC, so they knew they had some revenge to get when it came to the NECC. They wanted to close things out with a perfect record, and they did. I believe it was a 2-0, correct?
Yes, it was a 2-0. And, I think it shows kind of the difference between our NECC and our GLEC. A lot of those Saturday GLEC matchups, it's the end of a long week. We had a lot of double
True.
headers. And, just the mentality coming into those has been a lot different than NECC. Wednesday night, we're coming in fresh off of practices. So I think that really suits us well that time there.
And that's something we talked about a couple of times with both sets of teams at GLEC. When we talked to Smash, we talked to League. There were 2 weeks there when we had some really tough stretches, and we're talking like 3, 4, 5 games, in a week. And towards the end of that week, you see the results kind of dip, and that's not something we necessarily want. Some of it's bad, bad luck of the schedule. Some of it's, teams rescheduling anything there. But yeah, it definitely plays a part. And so maybe I never thought of it that way. But yeah, maybe that GLEC, it is a long week. It's a long day, and that might have a result.
So, yep, they will be in action this Wednesday as the 1 seed, taking on, I believe it is NIUH. I don't know. They have a lot of different teams and letters there, but one of the NIU squads, and League of Legends is our only team to claim the 1 seed. So we're
Yeah.
going in very strong into those playoffs on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think that game time's gonna be rescheduled at this point. But yeah, so with the NECC, with League of Legends at least, we'll have the quarterfinals this coming Wednesday. Hopefully, we then play on November 30th would be the semifinals, and then I'm not sure if it's the week after that or if there's some grand final scheduling when that is. But again, focus is on Wednesday. I know the team's 8-0. I know we're going 1 seed versus 8 seed, but they're not overlooking them. The team is out there right now. The tough thing with league is new patch drops tomorrow, and guess what? We're playing on it Wednesday.
Yeah, that's definitely tough. Not a lot of time to learn it, but I know these guys love, hopping into the playtest server where those changes are out a little early and they're already in there testing out,
Uh,
I think this champion's going to be a lot better on Wednesday when we play and maybe we change this up. So they're already prepping and I'm not too worried about them. They're one of our hardest grinding
yeah, they
teams.
really are.
You come in the lab, there's a League of Legends player in there, almost guaranteed. So
I came in here about 2 o'clock today to take a couple meetings. 2 or 3 members already beat me. I was overhearing them. Practice doesn't even start till like 7. So I mean they're in here, they're grinding. They want to learn. Like we talked about, they created that analyst piece where they're reviewing teams over and over. So yes, they're rearing, ready to go for Wednesday. But Smash plays first.
yep, that'll actually be tomorrow night where they are taking on Carroll Orange, a team we actually haven't seen in the regular season, just because there are so many teams for Smash that they had the North divided into different divisions. So Carroll is coming out of the A division as their 3rd seed, and I think we are the 2nd seed from the B division. Maybe
Yep.
I have that backwards, but
No, I think you're right, and our first seed of our division, Lambton, is
mhm.
actually below us. So if we both end up running the table, we'd see each other again. But yeah, so we'll face Carroll tomorrow night. Not a lot of information. I know the team's been doing some scouting on them. I did see a Ken on Carroll's
Oh
roster,
no.
so they're already talking about that. But the interesting thing is that this is double elimination in this side of the bracket. Again, Smash is new to the NECC. We were very happy to see Smash added to the NECC, but it's all new, and it looks like it's going to be a double limb for us.
Yeah, I really like that double elimination format. Just looking at the GLEC LAN, it almost would have been nice if that was double elim. Give us a second chance after losing to St. Francis. So I think it gives an opportunity, for all the teams to shine and show what they really have in these playoffs.
It'll be a lot of fun, and we just gotta hope, knock on any piece of wood, that there's no connection issues as we hope to match up with the other schools. But so yeah, so we have Smash tomorrow night. We have League on Wednesday night. No idea on Overwatch, but we know we're gonna play that Thursday night with Shield taking the number 2 seed. I believe Beacon ended near that 5, 6 seed. I know there were a couple different scenarios. I wasn't sure how that played out, but I'm sure they'll be announcing that soon.
Yep.
And then also right around that 4, 5, 6 seed will probably be both Rocket League teams as well.
Yeah. Schedule is not out yet for them, but we do know it'll be scheduled for the same time as the regular season, right? Thursday night for Overwatch and Friday night for Rocket League. Hopefully we get Rocket League together. I know some players are talking about heading out for Thanksgiving break a little early there, so
And some won't leave because their computers are here and they don't want to ship them back. So, so, so we'll see. We'll see who's here, who's in the lab, and what's going to happen the rest of this week.
yep. Always a possibility of reschedules too. I know we're already talking about our League One, players with classes, like you said, student athlete. So might have to get that rescheduled. So we've got Drawn Out Dread. I believe this is Jacob saying
Yep.
not only new patches Tuesday, but it's preseason with 12 new items.
And what a better time to drop a preseason patch than playoffs.
Yeah. So definitely a lot of learning. I know the items play a lot into the strategy, and those are, what give you those big advantages when you hit the full items. It gives you a ton of buffs. So having 12 new items in there definitely changes up a lot. So
And speaking of schedules and everything, we're not back next week. We're going to be on Thanksgiving break. So schedule-wise, this is going to be the last Beacon breakdown, at least for 2 weeks or so. Maybe I'll log in from home or something
I was
like
gonna
that.
say, unless you're doing something here, we might have to skip it for the
Yeah,
first
right.
time ever. So
But no, I mean, like I said, we're excited for a big long week of playoffs, kind of closing things out. GLEC was great, a lot of fun traveling, but all eyes on this week in the NECC, hoping we can extend our season some more.
yep, and keep an eye on our socials as we get the game times for those announced. Those should all be live here on Twitch. Um, hopefully we'll put it together. I know finding out time's late, but I think we'll get it together, and you should be able to find all of those here.
All right, well, thank you for tuning in. That's all I got. You?
I think we're good here. So yeah, thanks for watching the Beacon Breakdown, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Have a great afternoon, guys.